Hello, everyone. It is Leah Dunlap, and this is Oracle Live TV. Welcome to the show. So I know, as always, some of you are watching this from a watch party on Facebook, and we're so glad to have you. What I'd love for you to do is make sure that you follow the link that's underneath the watch party you're invited to so that you can actually come inside and ask questions yourself of the Oracle. The great thing is that as someone in the audience tonight, you're almost guaranteed to be able to ask your question because we have one guest tonight. We're trying another format that will allow you guys to have more time to ask questions because we get to the end and we have so many questions. So tonight, we are going to make sure that if you are in the audience and you want to participate, you have time. So before we bring on our guest, I want to tell you a little bit more about yourself. Not yourself. I am Leah Dunlap, the Oracle on Purpose. I'm an intuitive business architect. I work with entrepreneurs and I help them to understand what their unique life purpose and business genius are so that they can combine them to create powerhouse businesses that thrive as they grow. So with that in mind, I am excited to share my next guest who's coming up tonight, because one of the things that I love about Oracle Live TV is that we can reach people from all kinds of business backgrounds, all kinds of places in the world, and share with them the gift that the Oracle has of that divine guidance and inspiration to help them to move forward in the work that they do. Now, if you've been watching the show, thank you so much. I know that you know that one of the things that I'm here to do is to help people figure out what their unique life purpose is so that they can actually shine as bright as possible in the world, because that is ultimately what the universe is hoping for when it creates you. And that is the mission that the Oracle gave me from a mountaintop in the south of France. So if you're watching the show for the first time, please join us inside the room. Again, if you're watching a watch party, say hello in the comments. Let us know where you're calling in from or watching from. And again, as I mentioned, we will have time tonight, I promise you. So if you have a question and you've just found us and you're like, I have something I want to know and I want the Oracle's guidance, then please go ahead and mark in the comments. You just have to mark this. I'll show you what you can put down in the comments so that we can get to your questions in time. So all you'll need to do is post Q&A, and then next to the Q&A, whatever your question is. So if you're watching this right now for the first time, if you've watched before and you didn't get your question answered, please tonight make sure you post Q&A and your question, and we'll do our best to get you on the show tonight. Now, what if we don't get to you? I hope we do, but if we don't, and that's what happens, don't worry, because we've also got another option for you, which is for you to be a live guest here on the show. The great thing is, if you're a live guest on the show, then you and I can interact much more clearly back and forth live on the screen. So how do you do that? If you want to be a guest on the show and be in the live audience as well, you can go ahead and click on this, type in this link, and you can become a registered guest for an upcoming show. So what does it take to be a guest on our show? Well, the best thing to be is someone who is open to insight and divine guidance from the Oracle, who is looking for creating something of purpose in the world with their business. If you are an entrepreneur who is feeling like you've got a big vision or impact or mission that you're trying to achieve, but you're just feeling like you're lost or confused about the next best step to take, then come on over to the Oracle Live TV program, ask the Oracle live and in person, and get the insight that will help propel you forward so that you can deliver the impact and the purpose that you were designed to create with your business and your service. All right. So the last thing I'll let you know, and I know some of you, hey, we've got a lot of people in the audience here. Thanks for watching. I'm so glad you're here. And here's something that we like to do that's a little bit of fun, and it allows you to pay closer attention to the guidance from the Oracle and also some of the great stuff that our guests deliver. Our guests are always really intense people who are out there doing something positive in the world. That I will tell you. I've had so many different guests, but every time I walk away with some sort of aha or insight from the things that they're sharing about what they're up to and what they're doing. So what we've done is we've created what we call the Insight award. And the Insight Award is basically something we give away at the end of the show for the person who posts an insight that they gathered from the show. And in order to do that, all you need to do is, again, just type in #insight, and whatever inspires you or gives you that aha moment, or, even just to go ahead and give the person who's the guest a little praise for what they're doing or what they're up to in the world. Anything goes. Just #insight, and whatever comes to mind, you can go ahead and share it here. At the end of the show, we'll be giving away a prize. Sorry, I'm going off screen. I put that far too far out of reach. So tonight what we're going to do is, of course, if you've got inspiration, you want to write it down, right? So tonight we're going to be giving away a really cool box set of really cool pens with these crystals inside, which are super fun. And we'll be sending that out like a real physical prize. So if you want an Insight prize, then go ahead, and the next time you're inspired or have some sort of aha moment, go ahead and share #insight. Hi, Maureen. Hey, Maureen's back. Hi, Brenda. Thanks for watching. Thanks for being part of the show. And before we go any further, the last thing I want to let you all know is that if you want to make sure that you know when we are going live, you can always go ahead and type the words live view, and our system will start to put you on a cycle where you will be notified so that when we go live, you can come and find us. All right. So without further ado, I'm really excited for our next guest because I happen to know, as I mentioned to all of you, she was one of those people that had a question that we ran out of time for. And I told her, I said, hey, I know we ran out of time. Please sign up, register. So she's proof that it works. I promise you. You can actually be a live guest on the show, and I will share the guidance from the Oracle with you directly. So without further ado, I'm really excited to share our next guest with you all. She is coming to us live and from the studio here. Her name is Renee Moten, and she is a certified personal trainer. So welcome to the show, Renee. Thanks so much for being here. I'm excited to have you. Why don't you go ahead and share with the audience a little bit about yourself and what you're up to?
Oh. Well, first of all, Leah, I want to thank you for allowing me and inviting me onto this show. It's just such a pleasure to be here. So thank you so much for that.
Oh, thank you. I'm so welcome. I'm so glad you're here.
As you mentioned, I am a certified personal trainer. I have been one for about 20 years, and I have probably been on about 20,000 one-on-one appointments with clients. So I know a lot about fitness. I've been in fitness all my life, and I actually just totally love it. But what I really become passionate about when it comes to fitness is probably about like 20 years ago, I had a lot of knee pain. And first of all, I was in one leg, and then it went into the other. And so with this particular knee pain, it basically launched me into almost being disabled. And so that's when my passion started to come of how can I help more people. So what I'm really doing right now is what I do is I give baby boomers a step-by-step program to basically help them to relieve their knee pain so they will never need that knee replacement surgery.
Wow.
And yeah, exactly. It's just, when you have knee pain, you become almost disabled. You become, basically your knees kind of dictate what you can and cannot do. And that just didn't sit well with me. So as my journey was going through getting rid of this knee pain, I didn't want to use the steroids or the injections or the anti-inflammatory drugs. What I did everything holistically. I did it in an alternative medicine type way. And from that particular learning more about how to heal myself, I actually challenged myself, and I did a 40-mile walk. Okay, at Avon walk. Yeah, in 2013, I did a 40-mile walk, and with that particular walk, I said, "Okay, I'm healed. I've healed my knees, and I have figured this thing out." And so I developed a program called the Knee Pain Recipe. It's 7 steps that a person can go through that doesn't require them to take any drugs, doesn't require any shots. And it basically helps the person be in control. And that's what I'm all about, being in control of getting rid of your pain. And so my particular program starts with step 1 is getting you out of pain. And the way you do that is with exfoliation, hydrotherapy, and lymphatic drainage. Now, if you do those things in a specific order, you can get yourself out of pain. Anybody can get themselves out of pain, because the reason that we stay in pain, in knee pain, is because of this inflammation. So then you go into the next steps of the program. Is all about putting together flexibility, because when you have knee pain, you have your joints get very stiff. If anybody knows about knee pain, you're very stiff.
Right.
So you have to get flexible. Yeah, exactly. Then you go into stability and strengthening types of exercises. So putting those together, you can get the person back on track. They can get back and start to climb like I do. I climb, I jump rope.
Wow.
Yeah, it's just fascinating of coming from almost being disabled to now being able to almost, I can run if I want to, a jump rope. But what's really getting me, Leah, is that the fact that I feel that what the doctors are giving my clients and the people that I help, they're just giving them kind of like, I call it outdated. I call it outdated. Okay. Yeah. I call it outdated because it just, it really is not really fixing the problem. It basically puts a Band-Aid on it at the time. People have get a diagnosis of bone on bone. They just throw their hand up and say, hey, there's nothing I can do. Then maybe they have osteoarthritis, and they just throw their hands up and say, there's nothing I can do. Well, I'm here to tell you that there is. There is something you can do. And that's why I put together, what was that? Yeah.
I love it. I love that, you're acknowledging that that's your niche, right? That's who you can really work with. That's fantastic.
Yes. And I just know that I can help this person to get out of knee pain without having to put anything in their mouth or take any shots or take any type of drugs. It can happen. Right now, the protocol for helping people to get out of knee pain is just with the steroids and the anti-inflammatory. Going into the year 2020, 600,000 people are going to need knee replacement. In the year of 2030, there's supposed to be 3 million people.
Oh my
So
goodness.
it just basically, it's just basically saying that the protocol that is given to people right now, it's just not getting the job done. And as I say, I just think it's very outdated. It doesn't really, it puts a Band-Aid effect on people's knees, and people are suffering. I have people, some of my clients have been in pain for 30 years. 30 years in pain. I was in pain for 20 years. So I know that can be, just 20 years I was in pain. And now with my recipe that I put together, going through my 7 steps, you must do them in order of the exfoliation, getting rid of flexibility, stability, and then strengthening. If you do that and put those together, you can get yourself out of pain and maybe start running up those steps like you want to again, or maybe getting out of the car without a lot of pain, because most people can't even get out of their car because of pain. But it really works, and I'm just so proud of it. And I'm going to share with anybody that wants to listen to me that there is another way to get rid of the knee pain.
That is it's such an amazing story. And I really think that one of the first things that kind of was like that aha was, you said you've helped 20,000. Is that the word? That's the number?
I've been on 20,000 appointments as a personal trainer over my career, but not all of them.
I'm sorry, but that's a huge, I was like, wait, did she say 20,000? 20,000. Yeah. That's a lot of expertise in working with people and their bodies that I'm sure you bring. You have to have seen so many different people in so many different, physical experiences, that you've got this wealth of knowledge of the human anatomy and people. That's a lot of different people, obviously. So I hear that you also, this was part of your own story, right? That you had a personal connection to why this is so, such a part of your heart, is that you had this experience. I also I admire the fact that your version of that story was not, as you said, oh, well, let's just go the typical route, but that you really dug into what else was possible. And, on this show, we're always talking about, opening to possibilities and being clear about what our purpose is. And part of that is knowing that there's something else possible for us as individuals and as leaders. And, I find that in that part of the story, there's that magic of you understanding that what you learned, you could teach. and you could share. And the stories of being able to help somebody. The thing that I would love to share that my father has also suffered. He actually has had his hip replaced, not knee. But I know others who have had knee replacements as well. And as you said, it is one of those things where it's just kind of the next logical thing to do if they get there. So tell me, like for you right now, as you look out and grow your business, and I see a lot of people here, so I'm just going to acknowledge we've got Terry. This one's for you, so I'm going to share it so you can see. Where'd it go? Here we go. There it is. So Terry says, "Hey, Aunt Renee." So you're getting a little love from the family. I love it. I think that's great. Terry, thanks for joining. Thanks for supporting the fam. That's always awesome. And then I'm guessing this might be someone you know, but let's see here. Yes, I love it. She says, "I canceled my second knee surgery by following the advice." I mean, I love, so obviously, Renee, you are truly touching lives. You are obviously really creating a calling. How long have you been doing this part of your work? I know that you said that you were a personal trainer for all these years, but how long has this been a part of what you're doing?
Well, I wrote a book in 2014 after I did the Avon walk, because once I did the Avon walk, I said, I got this. I did Avon walk 40 miles and no knee pain. And that's when I wrote my book called The Knee Pain Recipe.
Awesome. So how many clients do you work with clients one-on-one, or do you so Brenda's talking about your book, which is great. Do you work with clients one-on-one, or do you just share this formula through the book? How are you getting your message out, Renee? How are you doing that? We want to know.
It all started with me just hanging out the book and talking to people about the book. And then once I have seen people like Brenda, for instance, have just shared with me that, hey, this works. I can do this online. I have now doing programs online. I have doing webinars. I actually have 2 workshops coming up on next Sunday. Workshops. I have trade shows. I also right now I'm looking to work with runners. I'm going to trade shows where runners are, and like on Sunday, I'm going to see 450 runners and really talk to them about it's possible that they can get rid of that runner's knee and continue to run, because a lot of them have that. So that's where my vision is going, towards the runners, to get them back up on their feet and to be able to continue to do what they love to do.
Yeah. So are you, I think that's awesome. And so it sounds like for right now, that's your focus. How are you reaching out to those people? Have you been like part of the running association? Where do you find your clients?
For the running, I just thought about running. So I just called up some organizations and just asked them about, I'm a sponsor. So what you do with anybody that is a sponsor, they can actually talk to the runners. So I have access to the runners. Yeah. As for a lot of the other genres that I have, I work in a gym. And so I work out of a gym. And so there I am working with the people from the gym. So I have signs up there, let them know what I do. I'm constantly putting stuff out on Facebook. I guess a lot of people probably see that. Emails, I put things out on that. And I have meetup groups that I also have meetup group just for people with knee pain. One of the most powerful things I've been doing is I have 3 classes that I teach throughout the week. This is all helping people with knee pain. So when people do come into my program, I'm able to kind of like hold their hand and walk them through the program, because they can see me 3 times a week. These are live exercises that I do, and they can talk to me then. And even the person, they have a diagnosis of a bone on bone, bone on bone. It's supposed to hurt. But she's been in my class for probably about 2 months. And I said, well, how are your knees doing? They're better. She's going upstairs. She's kneeling on the floor. So that's the power of just being in my presence, in the sense that I can help you, even though you're just in my class. I can also help you with your knee pain and get you well. It's quite fascinating, very rewarding.
Oh, that's interesting that you bring that up. So just being in your presence. I mean, the Oracle in me, of course, peaks up whenever anybody talks about that, because I think that, and I believe that there are no such thing as accidents. I know that people that show up at this show, and it happens over and over again, tend to have a similar theme or background, which is we all see ourselves as people who are, transformational leaders or healers. So I'm curious, do you consider yourself a healer, Renee?
I can tell you that, there's people have been in pain for 30 years. I met a woman that she was in pain since she was 3 years old, and she's 50 now. Wow. And I had her come on my table, and there's something called inflammation, and it gets very hot, and that's been her problem. She just can't seem to get rid of this inflammation. I did step 1, step 2, and you could feel the heat come away, start to dissipate. And really what it does, it just goes back into the body and just comes out of the body a different way. But I don't know if I call it healing, but if I get my hands on people, I can really make a difference with them. And I never thought of myself as a healer. I guess I do. That's what I do.
I love that, because you're like, well, and that's one of those moments. I'm going to tell you, this is so fun. When I'm in my groups with people and we have clients, and like I take I'm taking a retreat in Italy with my clients, and I do these mastermind retreats, and it's always fun when I land a question, the Oracle gives me a question for someone, and everyone else in the room or the group is like, yeah, and the person's like circling and circling. Everybody's like, yes. And it's really beautiful to watch that, because I know that there's, I've never given a question like that without a purpose. And so clearly wanting to tap into, is there a part of you that, is maybe not stepping up? And it doesn't mean, and I want to make this clear. So anybody that's watching this, it's not like I'm not knighting you. I was like, Donnie. It's not like that's not my point. It's more about the sense, I think, that I get from the Oracle, is that there's a piece of this, the value piece, which comes to healing. And healing is such a potent power as a human that it's okay. And yet sometimes we shy away from that, right? You can say, I get these results, and yet if somebody puts it out there that way, you're like, oh, I don't know. I always say, look at that. What is uncomfortable about that for you? Is it the word? Could be the word. Sometimes it's a word, but also sometimes I think it's that idea of, stepping into a fuller version of ourselves, right? And being recognized and visible for that. How does that land for you when you hear that?
Well, I'm a jock, okay? And I think when you say that, it's like, that's what what I'm doing is really helping people to heal, but I'm a jock. So it's kind of like, that's why when you said it, like, oh my gosh. But I can take that on. I like that.
Yeah.
I never thought of it that way, but I like that. I can do that.
Good. Well, and I love that you said that, I'm a jock. I'm a jock. I'm like, and I will tell you, I've had clients that are like, I'm a business person, I'm serious. It's like, and I had this one woman, this client, who I talked to, and I said, you need to go to she went to an improv class. I'm like, you need to go take an improv class. You need to have more fun. You're talking, what you're doing, yes. Part of the reason that we fall out of love with what we do, or we struggle, is that we're not having fun with it. It's not feeling rejuvenated, right? So there's a part of that where the secret is, for me, when the Oracle's tapping into something, even before somebody asked me, is it's she's trying to get to the heart of the matter, right? Let's go there, because if we go there, it unlocks something for you. I know, so if you guys are watching, how many of you noticed what happened to Renee's face when I said, you can watch the replay later, Renee, but anybody, so say, I saw it. If you know this, her face changed when she's like, yeah, I could be, when she acknowledged that. Yeah, Renee's amazing. Yeah. So, I think that there is this, there's this part that we can hold away from ourselves because
Mm-hmm.
we're afraid that people will judge it, right?
Mm-hmm.
So how does that resonate for you? Like if somebody thinks you as a jock, it sounds like you feel like, yeah, that's right. But if I said you're a healer, suddenly it was like, what? Like, so tell me, where is it about that you feel like, oh gosh?
I can actually step into that. I've never looked at it that way. I just know that when you can help someone, even Brenda, for instance, all of a sudden, once she felt better, she wanted to start to compete with her sister with the Fitbit, and she was just in pain. When you have people that are now getting out of their cars and they're feeling better. I had a woman that couldn't even turn over because of her knee pain. And it's just, I can step into that, and I probably would help me, because now I can step into that and feel more of what I really do is not just working with someone, in a personal training status. I can actually, heal people's knees. So I guess I can be called a healer. I like that. Take that.
Yeah, you just said that. So what is that? I mean, so what I heard you say, right, is I heal people's knees. Like, what if that was like literally the thing that came out of your mouth when people said, "What do you do, Renee?" I heal people's knees. If I don't have a problem with my knees, I'm gonna be like, "Oh, that's interesting. Tell me more." If I do, or I know someone, so I mean, even as you said, like that number is rising, right? Like there's a pool, there's definitely a target audience and group growing that would need that. So it's always, to me, when we can be clearest about our purpose, then we become the beacon, and people are like, there's, and so as you said, like I think when we play with the word healer, we just bring people to a place of releasing that pain, right? And it could be any kind of modality, right? And I get the sense in the Oracle sharing, like, this does not, so let me ask you this, because this is more of a question for me. What he's saying is, this does not mean you're God. So if anybody's watching this, is like, you can't tell her she's, first of all, I can say whatever I want. It's my show. It's my show. Second of all, that's not the intention. The intention is to say, like, you're healing people from knee pain. That's a thing, and you have results to show that. And more importantly, we're not saying that makes you God. It makes you you. And that's why you're here. So when you hear that and you think, okay, if I step into that, as you were saying, if I can step into this, what do you think is possible for you now that wasn't before?
My vision is for one of the days they're going to open up the medical books, and knee pain recipe will be there. I feel that there is a way to, the word arthritis, when people hear that word, they just throw their hands up. The last part of arthritis is itis. It means inflammation. My program can get rid of the inflammation, can stop it in its tracks. Okay, it can do that. And the only thing they would have is the other part. Okay, with tendonitis and bursitis. The only thing they need to do is get rid of the inflammation. And that's what my program does. And so I want my knee pain recipe to be the protocol that the doctors go to say, here, we're going to do this program. It doesn't take, like I said, no pills, no shots. It just takes time, patience, and discipline to do the program. And that's what I see. I see it quite often that my protocol will be in the medical books.
I think that's fantastic. So tell me, what is the biggest challenge you have right now to making that a reality?
You have doctors that are not open to holistic type of remedies. Even when I go to the doctors with my clients sometimes. And even when I share this information that, I've helped them with this, it is like, okay, well, whatever, it's just, there's no recourse that, maybe you can help my clients, even when my clients go to them and they share with them. So it's more of that block that I'm really trying to get to. I actually was going to go out to Texas and go to an orthopedic convention just
to go right to the heart of it. I love it.
Just to kind of be around them to see how can I penetrate this thinking. There's 600,000 people getting knee replacements, and all of them are not good.
Right.
People are, once you get a knee replacement, you can't go back, and it's just not good. And I know I can make a difference. And I just need to, what I'm doing, every day, I'm just doing something to get the word out. Like I said, anybody that'll listen, I'm sharing with them that there is a way to get rid of their knee pain.
I love it. Well, I'm glad you're here, and I'm glad you're sharing that. And the Oracle just said, like, what if you're just barking up the wrong tree? What if instead of trying to get everybody, you go to the ones who are already looking for alternatives? Because I think and this is, I've had another guest on at one point who is very similar situation. And this is a similar message, which was, sometimes we fight the fight because it's in front of us. And we're just banging on a wall when 6 feet over, there's a door. But we're so invested in fighting that fight that we don't open ourselves to see that there's probably a door. And I'm getting what I call the full body flush from the Oracle right now. So I know we're on track as far as like, this is the piece. So before I go too much further, because of course I haven't asked you and we've just jumped into this because there was so much happening. But, what is your question for the Oracle tonight? What would you like her to help you with to design this next thing for you?
Well, my original question, like you said, I need to go with the question that's coming up.
Go with the one that's coming up.
As for being a healer, what does the Oracle see for me in that genre? I never thought about that's what's coming up for me is what do I see? What does the Oracle see for me as a healer?
Well, first of all, it makes me happy to hear you say that. So I'm just going to say that sort of selfishly, but also just because I feel like that's the right question. So that's good. And I think it goes to this piece, which is why she was like showing me that. I'm like, okay, I feel like we're getting like way ahead of like what she asked. And so I want to make sure that I'm honoring you. And so the thing that I hear when you ask that question is you need to go to the healers. So there are doctors who are practitioners and there are doctors who are healers, and that their goal is healing and health, right? So if you find those doctors, if you find those medical professionals, if you find those naturopaths, if you find, so it's like, again, I think that's why she was saying like, stop banging your head against the wall when there's a door 6 feet over and the doorway in. Now, here's the funny thing. It's kind of like, that's the workaround, right? Because once you're in the building and you've got their counterparts, their doctor friends, their naturopath friends getting results, then you've got allies. And you're no longer fighting this battle alone.
I can see that. That.
And part of that is, I think that's the piece of tapping into the healer part of it, rather than just, because here's the thing, it comes down to positioning. Like you told me when we first started, 20,000, you've worked with 20,000 people, you've had that experience. And that's amazing to me, the lay person, right? I mean, as a non-physical trainer,
okay.
Like, whoa, that seems incredible. It is an incredible number. And really, if you want to speak to people who are creating this structure for health and healing, then you need to look for the healers who heal as well, or interested in healing, or looking at healing. So the way you're approaching becomes different. It's not, I'm going to show you what you're doing wrong so you can fix it. It's, how would you feel if you had a solution?
I see.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
How would you feel if I could give you a protocol, right? Speaking their language, obviously, a protocol that I've used with my own clients for X amount of years with this many results, and you could share that with your people too.
I like the wording.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So it's the idea that you're coming alongside of them. You're not trying to push them down. You're trying to bring them alongside.
Yeah. That feels better.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So when you think about what you've been doing, how might this change what you do next?
Well, I'll be seeking other practitioners, number one. That was something I wasn't thinking of going for. I think that when I'm in my workshops, I will probably talk differently, talk more of, the healing aspect of what I do instead of the mechanics of what I do. I feel that would resonate better with the people that I'm going to be talking to, even with the runners that I'm going to be seeing, on Sunday, talking about that healing aspect and more so than the mechanics of what I usually do.
Right. And I'm going to tell you right now, I was like looking over here really quickly, and I want to share these with you. I'm going to get rid of that. I just saw this down here. Where'd it go? Someone gave I saw someone say something amazing about you. I saw a lot of people, by the way, so look at the comments. But here we go. I knew it was in here somewhere. So Brenda, a huge fan, obviously. Brenda says, insight, bringing Renee's healing power to light. So here's the thing. What that says to me is the people you are working with already see this in you. And I'm going to tell you, that happened to me. I was the one, before I was the Oracle on Purpose, I was just Coach Leah. So it's like, when I stepped into that myself, I recognized that the thing I was afraid of, like putting myself in that light, actually ended up being the thing people were like, yeah, of course, it makes so you might be surprised, especially since we know Brenda obviously has a great affinity for you, that she can already see that in you too. And here's another great insight that Maureen sent. Consider looking for people who are already looking for an alternative to knee replacement. I also think in regards to that, as far as what the insight the Oracle was giving, it's looking for naturopathic doctors who don't do knee replacements already, right? And they're looking for a solution for their clients. Because if they don't have anybody but a doctor to refer to, right, then they're kind of stuck in a rock and a hard place. So if they could have you give them or send their client to you to do that, then it's a win-win, right? It helps them stay in a modality that they're aligned with, and it helps you to create, proof through a doctor that they're using this protocol. So then it becomes a win-win for both of you. How does that sound when you hear that?
Well, I was thinking about putting some signs out in front of an orthopedic doctor, because I was trying to get the people before they went to see the orthopedic doctors to just share with them that there was another way. So that was what I was thinking. But to go to some, naturopaths and just talk to them would be a heck of a lot easier.
Right. And I'm sure there's got to be like a naturopaths association or something like that. Where they get together. Conferences. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. I was going after the big guys. So I just need to back off and go after the people that are really looking for healers to help their clients.
Right. Because here's the thing, there's this David and Goliath mentality that happens when we know the truth. Nobody's listening up on the hill, but the reality of it is it's the people that make the change, right? Like when a true transformational movement happens, it happens at the people level, right? Because they're the ones demanding it. They're the ones saying, I don't, think about organic foods. Now they're like every grocery store. When they used to have their own stores, like it was like secret little place over there. Now you've got places that are major, food carriers are like, we have to have organic food. Otherwise, people aren't going to shop here. So going not necessarily on your own, but going where your gift is going to be appreciated, right? Is smarter. And it's also, here to me, it's also more efficient. Like, how much, let me ask you this question, since we're on the question train, how much time and energy would you have to spend to argue the point with that doctor that you want to go stick a pick? Don't do that. Workers like, no, don't do that. But how much, when you think about that, really, like, how much time and energy would it take to fight that than it would to just find people that want to know what you have to say?
Yeah, it would be such it would just make my, I'm really just relaxing now, because I had all these ideas of how to go after Goliath and to try to, I'm like, convince you that this works. I could take see your client here. I have your client. I made them better. Can you see that? So it was going to be all stuff like that. So even when my clients go to see their doctor, I said, well, what did he say when you told him that you were better? And nothing,
Right, yeah. Well, yeah, because you are literally barking up the wrong tree at that point. Anyway. So I mean, I think that, when you ask, like, how do you, I know the first question, because I read your notes. I know that part of this is like, how do you get this out more? I think that is tap into the healer in you. Speak to what you're healing. Speak to the result people are actually already getting and what they're wanting healing from, right? So instead of, as you were speaking before, like going to these runners and saying, like, going all technical, which of course there's a technical background and you can share that, right? You can do that. But to grab their attention and to really get to the heart of the matter, I think you're going to have to tap into the healer in you.
Yeah.
And acknowledge the pain and the frustration of their bodies not working the way they want them to.
Yeah, that is quite powerful. I can see that I have always learned that when you can share more about what's going on, if you can tap into that feeling of what they're losing and what they've lost, because I know what that used to feel like when I was, when I had my knee pain, that really motivates you to want to take some steps to move forward. Tell them about that their knee joint goes this way or that way. Usually doesn't do the job, but when you share with them that you can't run anymore, that resonates with a runner.
Yeah, because they need to know, their pain. Right.
Yes.
There's that piece of this where as a healer, like, you can heal their pain, but you have to first, they have to know what it's like the pain. And I think in your original version of the story, you're like, I decided. It's like, yes, but something made you decide. Right. And it's like, is it that moment when you're realize you can't lift your kid up and give him a piggyback ride? You can't get on the bike and ride with your 5-year-old because your legs are not going to, you rode on the weekend. That's it. You're done for the week. You can't garden. You can't do whatever those things are that you really love doing. And, and the feeling, as you said, that brings about, like, whether it's sadness or regret or anger or frustration, if you speak to that and the healer in you resonate, connects with them, like, I feel you, I understand. And that's what I do. I heal knee pain. And without surgery, right? Without surgery and without drugs. Yeah. Like, if you said that to someone, how do you think they would respond if they had any knee pain whatsoever? Audience, you share. How would you respond if you had? I know we have some of your people here. So, I mean, how, versus, your knee, and then.
Well, I have never. I work with Marine a lot, as a matter of fact, because I don't have the empathy. I have to work at it. To work at the empathy of what I do. And so, kind of like when I share with my information with people, I talk about, what they've lost, but I kind of go kind of fast, through that. and I don't stay there so they can actually feel. I mean, people have to leave out of their own home. They can't stay in their home because they can't go up and down the stairs. That's powerful. But I don't I just say you can't go up and down the stairs, but it's really, you're going to lose your home.
Right.
You have to move.
Let me ask you, dude, like when you say that, what I just heard from the Oracle is, well, if you stay in the feeling, then you have to be in your feelings. You have to be in your feelings to share that knowledge. Mm. How does that land?
I'm kind of fan myself. I gotta stay in my feelings.
Yeah.
I hit those places, but I come out of those places. I don't stay there very long. I do hit it and I come out. And so I can see that I may need to stay a little longer in there and to reconnect with what that really feels like, the devastation. Matter of fact, knee pain is called a silent disabler.
Right. I can
it's
totally
a silent disabler.
Yeah.
And, people call it, one of my clients call it they have a couch potato depression.
Right.
I mean, all those things are a part. But I think I haven't had knee pain for so long. I almost can't, it's go back there is kind of difficult, when you can't do what you want to do. And I need to get back there with the people because, I kind of skim over it a little bit too fast. Right. But it's quite powerful of when you can't do what you want to do and your knees just basically dictate that you can't even go to the movies anymore. That is just, yeah.
Right. Yeah. And I see all that emotion in you, and what I want you to know, and this is, I think this, again, just tapping back into the healer side of you, is that as a healer, you have to be comfortable with your own emotion, like that emotional place, because that's where the healing really happens. And as you said yourself, people are healed just by being in your presence. That's not because of some sort of mechanics, right? That is the energy of your emotions and your presence. So the more you can stay there, the better your message is going to be received.
I can definitely see that.
Yeah, because then I know you care, right? Because if you conversely, if you're doing it the other way, I know you're smart, but I don't know if you care. Right? I know that's not true, but I'm just saying, like, if that's the reaction you're getting, it's probably that sense of like, well, she's really smart, but my doctor's really smart. And they've got me. Like, you know what? Oops, we lost Renee for a second. Don't worry. That is live video right now. So she's coming back in a second. This is funny. I always say when like some random tech thing happens, it's the Oracle telling us to move on. So we're going to move on. Okay. It's funny. I'm like, whoa, okay. So I think we're done. I feel complete. Does that feel complete to you? Like, as far as like what you've come to ask, is there anything else on your heart that you want to share or ask about in regards to this?
No, I think my heart is pretty full at the moment.
Well, I'm going to fill it up some more, because before we go, we've got some other great insights here. So I want to share those while you're on the screen. Terry says, I'm not sure what this means. The Oracle sees you going to Texas and getting as much info as you can get. I don't know if that's a question or a statement. It seems like a statement. I would say, and that's in regards to the doctors, right? I think that's fine. Here's the thing. Excuse me. Here's the thing, and this is the point that I think was being made. It's not to say that you can't. It's not to say that you can't work with doctors, be associated with doctors, even try to bring your protocol to them. It's just the entry. That's the piece. It's like how you're coming at it is more important than trying to make someone who's not listening listen. I believe you're a mother. So have you ever tried to make your kids listen to you when they don't want to listen to you? I mean, there's they can find a lot of ways to block out information, and people will if they don't feel like they're ready for it, right? They don't want to hear it. So this is more about like, if you're going to be in association, find the way in that's actually aligned with you, right? So even if there might be some, but so what you're looking for when you're there, if you go, I don't think you shouldn't go.
No, I'm not going. That was like 3 months ago. So
I think that if you're going to places where you're meeting with like large organizations and medical professionals, that at that point it's like, imagine it like you can kind of scan through the audience and go like, who here, and your conversation is, what is your approach to knee pain? What is your approach to knee pain? What is your or what is your approach to medicine? Do you look at alternative, or your approach to alternative medicine? And just hear, like, listen to the people that are like,
exactly.
You don't have to waste your time then. You're like, okay, thank you. Moving on, and then completely put your energy and attention to finding people who have at least an understanding, appreciation for alternative options, and then go on to the knee pain piece. Do you have a protocol for knee pain? What does it look like? Do you have an alternative? Do you have a pain, a procedure or medical free option? And this is the sentence that you may or may not have heard before, but I'll share it here because I think it's alignment to this, which is, would you be interested in knowing more about that? Because now we're having a conversation. Now we're working together. So if somebody's like, well, I don't really work with people in knees, or pretty much I send them over to so-and-so, but I would love to find an option where that wasn't the case. That's like, you're like, hey, guess what? Right? So it's like invitation to a conversation, right? Now we're not having an argument. So I think that in regard to what Terrell's saying, I think that's the idea, is it's not so much like just avoid them. It's mainly get in with the people who will give you their ear. There's one other thing in here. All right, here we have another insight from Maureen. Being clear about your mission allows you to be a beacon. So I think I hope that's landed. I feel like it's landed. So I'm going to go back through here. It looks like Robin Thomas says, Renee has been a real blessing. Amanda, Renee is amazing. So you're getting a lot of kudos and a lot of love. So I hope you take that with you too. And know that here's the thing. They're talking about you. They didn't even talk about your formula. They're just saying you. Saying there is something there. So I hope that you take that with you. I thank you so much for being a guest on tonight's show. I'm going to go through and do the insight, because I see some insights. So we're going to pull an insight prize. Thank you again for being here, for sharing, for being open, for the work you're doing. Because I know, as you said, there are so many people out there who can benefit from what you have to offer. So I hope that you take this information and get out there and reach more and more people. All right.
Oh, quick question, please. I'm supposed to put my email somewhere?
Yeah. Thank you for saying that. So if you put it in the chat log, our chat log where I showed you, I will put it on the screen here in just a moment. Thank you for reminding me. So do you have a website, Renee?
Yes. But it's kind of like under construction. So okay.
So if you want, do you have a Facebook page?
Yes, but it's really general.
Okay. If someone wants to reach out to you, you can go ahead and post. They can find you under what?
Well, it's kneepainrecipe@gmail.com.
Okay, there we go. We'll just do that. So if you want to speak to Renee or learn more about it, it's spelling knee right. Knee pain recipe. gmail.com. All right, here we go. I'm going to show that on the screen for a moment so you guys can see that. I'll let it scroll past so people can write it down. Thank you again, Renee, for being here. I appreciate you showing up and being open. I know that you're like, I don't know what's going to happen. So I hope that that's complete. Do you feel like you got enough to take away to work on?
I am more than what I was even thinking about that it was going to happen. So
all right. So I have a question. Do you recommend that other people should be a guest on the show?
Absolutely. The insight that, I wasn't even thinking about healing, and to take that information now and to to use it and every day. I mean, it's just gonna make my life so much easier.
I'm so glad. Thank you. I love it. Awesome. So you heard it here. You heard it from Renee. You love her. The show. All right, Renee, I'm going to pull you down. I'm going to go ahead and draw our hashtag insight winner. So if you want to reach Renee, it's kneepainrecipe@gmail.com. And we'll actually also put that. Let's see here. I'm going to put it. Nope, that did not work. We don't want that link. Okay, hold on. I'm going to type it in the comments as well. But I can't apparently talk and type. There you go. All right. So it's also in the comments if you want to do that. So if you're like trying to write it down, don't worry. It's in the comments. And as a note for you, Renee, if you want, once you get done, you can go into the Facebook group page for this show and you can look at the comments. I suggest you do because lots of people are sending you lots of love, which is always nice. All right. So we're going to go ahead and pull the winner. I'm going to look first to see. Oh, let me give you guys one last chance, because I know people are like, wait, what? We're at this point in the show where we're going to do questions. So if you would like to ask a question right now, this is the time to do it. So if you have a question that you'd like the Oracle to answer for you right now, put Q&A and your question, and we will answer it. We have just enough time to get probably one in. So if you're in there already, I'll look for you. If not, we're going to go ahead and move on now. We're going to go ahead and look for the Insight Prize winner. So this is really high tech, serious high tech happening out here. I'm going to pull the Insight winner. This weird thing that I try to do this without looking, but then all I want to do is look. So I'm trying to just go right here. And I think this is a hashtag Insight because it looks like, oh, here it is. Here we go. All right. So Jocelyn Barry Daniels, I know you didn't write hashtag Insight, but your comment is long. So the emotions that you are blocking are actually what have the potential to enhance your connection with people and promote your message. Jocelyn, that's juicy. All right, Jocelyn. So Jocelyn, just so you know, if you're watching, I hope you're watching. If you're watching, say, yeah, I'm here. You're going to get these really cool, and this box is kind of silly, so I'm going to show you. These are really cool pen sets. And the cool thing is they have these beautiful crystals in them. They're very nice weighted pens. I write a lot, so I like a good pen. So these are really nice pens. I will get them out to you in the mail. So I will reach out to you, or my assistant will reach out to you for an address. So be aware, look in your private messages. So Jocelyn, you are the winner tonight for the hashtag Insights. Congratulations. And now we're going to see if anybody had any questions. And here's some more love for Miss Renee. I'm so proud of you. Okay, wait, I'm trying to look for the other ones. Ta-da-da. Okay. Here's another insight. Okay, here's the one. Donna says, I do not think it was possible with Renee's passion, dedication, and resolve to help heal. I am doing things with ease that was painful before Renee's support. So you have a huge fan following, and if you'd like to know more how to take advantage of that, we can connect after this. But yes, so there are a lot of love for you. Yeah, this is a good one. I agree. So Robin Thomas says, when talking about knee pain, Renee said something to the effect, you don't want your world to shrink. I think that was a really good insight. So if you're suffering in any kind of pain, really, that is a point where you get to, so reach out to someone who can help you, because we don't want our worlds to shrink. We don't want our lives to be hindered by pain. And I think that's really great. I never forgotten that, and it motivates me. I love it. All right. Brenda Lynch, she got something good. Empathy. You know, it's true. And if you are someone like Renee, who's like very purposeful and intense and driven with what you're doing, it can be hard to kind of move into that place of softness and the healer and the empath, and to be in touch with your feelings, because it can feel like it's a risk. So I encourage you, as the Oracle encouraged Renee, to really just give yourself permission to stretch into that muscle, because it is a muscle if we don't use it. And it does feel like it's hard to really relax and open up and trust that people will receive us well. And I know that in the 25 years that I've done this work, that more often than not, when people allow themselves to open up and be more fully expressed, those people out there that they're supposed to be helping get more of them. Okay, so that's the key. They see you more, they want more of you. So yes, great insight. All right. Oh, Maureen, thank you. Thank you for this beautiful conversation. I'm liking these. Hey, you guys, how do you like just having one guest? Is it like cool? I like it. I'm enjoying all these extra pieces of conversation we're having. Another one from Maureen, find and connect with people who will appreciate your, yes, let's say that again, everyone. For all the people, find and connect with people who will appreciate your gifts. It's such an energy drain to try to convince people that what you have, your gifts, your offer, your formula is valuable if they aren't ready to receive a gift from you. It's too hard and it's too much energy and it's too much effort. So it's to let that go from the place of knowing that there are millions of people on this planet that can be served by your gift, and that when you find them and when you really show up clearly, they can find you. I always say it's like having one of those old TVs where it's slightly on static, it's not on the station, and people just get frustrated and they turn the channel. We don't want them to turn the channel. We want them to see you and know who you are and know what they can expect from you and really get the full breadth of who you are. So definitely being all of you, healer, jock. I had this one client she's like, I want to be a gypsy healer. I want to travel the world and just heal people. I'm like, so what's wrong with that? She's like, nobody will take me seriously. Like, okay, so that's your internal conversation. Somebody out there who's a gypsy something wants a gypsy healer. So it's always there. There's always possibility. So yeah, definitely find your people. This is a great one. Great insight. Brenda says, your book should be at Whole Foods. Definitely. Again, we're talking about getting involved with people that would appreciate what you have to offer. Awesome. Give yourself credit for what you do. Check out other naturopaths. Maureen said that was her insight. They're waiting. Yeah, they're waiting for you for sure. All right. I think I got a lot of people there. I know it's time. We are at time. Thank you all so much for being here. I don't see any other questions. So if you had a question and you did not get to ask it, please go and sign up. And you too could be one of our guests, just like lovely Renee was tonight. So if you want to be a guest in the next coming show, please do register. We have spaces. We have our show every Wednesday night at 6 p.m. Pacific. And we are live, as you see. We have plenty of time to go deep into whatever is up for you. If you're an entrepreneur and a business leader and you are really working on something big and impactful in the world, I'm here to help. The Oracle's here to help you be on purpose. And this is our gift to you, to show up and share whatever knowledge or insight we can to help guide you up and onward in your journey. So thank you all for being here. Thank you so much to our guest. I hope that you all have a wonderful night. And remember, you are here on purpose. Bye now.